admission.
Lena ke yona ke charge ithi ngikhuluma ngayo kusho ukuthi ilona ke le phepha leli ke umuntu ke alifundelwayo ke enkantolo mayivela ukuthi ke iliphi noma waphi amacala awathwesayo laseXabane.
My lord, it indicates the obvious on top the case number, Sergeant Mohane as the investigating officer, the date of arrest, which is 19 June 2020, and the first date, in other words, the first appearance was 22 June 2020, with the accused names and surname written.
Lana ke imininingwane ke echazayo ukuthi ubani ophenya icala uSergeant Mohane, ilanga lakhe ke aboshwa ngalo i-19 zika June 2020, bese ukuthi ke ilanga avela ngalo ke ngokuqala enkantolo noma bingelela iMarch kwange-22 zika June 2020 namagama akhe ke umsolo.
My lord, I can further confirm that other than this, I do know that on the 22nd, I had to wait for Sergeant Mohane and accused, two in particular, because one, we needed to do the teeth, the cable, the teeth examination, the dental examination with a doctor that side, as we were suspecting that he may have a gold teeth incision. That was the first part. The second one, it was the day when I obtained, as I said, on the 19th, I spoke to Mr. Mulder, but the final, the actual disposal of the affidavit was concluded on the 22nd of June 2020.
Okunye ngakusho ke ngaphandle nje kwalokhu engiqeda ukusho ngikufunde lana mayelana nazo ke i22 lezo ke ukuthi kwakufanele futhi ke ayohlangana ke nodokotela azombheka ke amazinyo ke ngoba sasicabanga ke noma ke sisola ke ukuthi ke wayenalo ke izinyo legolide. Okunye futhi ke ngazo lezo i22 lezo kwakufanele ukuthi ke uMr Mulder nanjengoba sasihlangene ke ngazo i19 ukuthi aqedeleleke le affidavit yakhe owayezokunikeza yona.
Yes.
Yes. And if you look on page 4 of Exhibit RR, what is the entry there?
Page 4. So it's written, my lord, accused number 1, or defense. It says first, my lord, defense for accused number 1, Mr. Mjiyako. And then it goes further to mention that it's digitally recorded.
No, sorry. The entry by the magistrate.
The entry by the magistrate.
Yes, the date to which the matter was postponed to on the 22nd.
Is it now on page number 4?
Yes.
So it says request, Mr. Mjiyako requests postponement to 3 August 2020. In discussion with DPP before apply for bail.
Okubhaliwe ke lana noma kwabhalwa iyona ke imanje ngale lelo langa lelo ke ukuthi ke nesicelo ke esenziwa noma umnumzana uMjiyako uyacela ukuthi icala lehlehliswe 3/08/2020 ukuze ukhulumisana ke nabashushisi noma abengamele ezoshishisa ngaphambilini kokuthi ke enze isicelo sebail.
I'm sorry, my lord, we just shown the correct entry there by the magistrate.
All right, it says adjourned to 29/06/2020, legal aid in custody, no bail.
Lana ke okubhalwe umanje ke ukuthi icala lehlehliswa ke lehlehliswa i-29 June 2020 kwabhalwa ke legal aid uzogcinwa ke estoksini akana bail.
And the date of the appearances, my lord, is the 22nd of June 2020.
Futhi ilanga ke avela ngalo noma abingelela ngalo imanje i-22 June 2020
in relation to accused number 2.
sikhuluma ngaye ke umsolo wesibili.
You mentioned that accused number 2 had to undergo dental examination on the 22nd of June 2020.
Yes, that's what I said, my lord.
Ngishilo ukuthi ngazo i-22 lezo kwakufanele ukuthi ahlanganeke nodokotela wamazinyo.
Have you seen that report?
Yes, I've seen it, my lord. I had sight of it.
Ngubonile ke noma ngawubona ke lo mbiko loyo.
Just want to show you exhibit VV1, which was actually handed up by the defense.
Yes, my lord, it is the document I'm referring to, and the date here is clearly stated that it was the 22nd of June 2020. That was after the court appearance. So.
Iwona-ke lo mbiko engikhuluma ngawo lona futhi nedate ibhaliwe la i-22 zika-June 2020 futhi lokhu kwenzeka-ke emuva kokuthi esevelile enkantolo.
You've mentioned that you've had sight of this exhibit. If you look on page 2, even if it was an oral examination, were there any injuries noted?
No, absolutely none, my lord.
Noma-ke lana-ke awayekuyeleke ukuthi-ke noma wayohlangana nodokotela wamazinyo-ke kodwa-ke akukho okubhaliwe ngokuthi mayelana nokuthi-ke wayelimele.
Thank you. Then after the 22nd, what happened further?
Yeah, so what I recall, my lord, he was then, I think, transferred for further detention at Pretoria North SAPS. That is now from the court appearance.
Engicabangayo ukuthi kwenzeka-ke manje ukuthi uma seqedile-ke ukubingelela-ke imanje noma ukuvela-ke enkantolo wase endluliselwa-ke ePretoria North ukuthi ayogcina khona lapho.
Then, my lord, on the 23rd of June 2020, I received a call from the police station when our accused 2 was detained, where I was informed there's an attorney who wants to consult with him, and they wanted to check if they should allow such a person.
Kwase kuthi ngazo i-23 ngathola-ke ucingo-ke elubuya e-police station leyo-ke awayekuyona umsolo wesibili. Bengitshela-ke ukuthi kwakunommeli owayefisa ukuthi akhulume naye-ke babefuna nje ukwenza-ke isiqiniseko sokuthi-ke bangamvumela yini ukuthi akhulume naye.
I advised them, my lord, to allow this person to consult with accused number 2, and that I will be making my way just to confirm the status of this individual, my lord.
Ngase ngithi kubona-ke abamvumeleke loyo muntu loyo ukuthi akhulumeke naye umsolo wesibili. Mina-ke ngizoza-ke ngizoqinisekisa nje ukuthi-ke ubani loyo muntu loyo.
Just a minute. Do you remember as to from whom this call emanated?
No, I don't remember, but it was members that were in charge of the cells, where the reporting for consultation will normally be arranged. And this request, my lord, was not unusual in light of the fact that we're under COVID lockdown. So there were restrictions in terms of visits. So, I said, look, they must make an exception because it is a legal visit.
Lana-ke angisakhumbula ukuthi kwakuwubani-ke owafona kodwa ilabo-ke abaphethe-ke kuma-cell ngoba-ke kufanele ukuthi benze kanje. Ila khona-ke umuntu uma eyoconsulta akhulumisana khona nabantu. Futhi lokhu kwangasiyona-ke into engabambisekile-ke ngoba-ke sasingaphansi kwayo-ke i-lockdown ye-COVID. Manje-ke umuntu uma ezobona-ke ngase ngivuma-ke ukuthi cha abamdedeleke ukuthi ambone ngoba-ke kwakuwummeli.
Yes.
My lord, I arrived there, I think it would have been after an hour or 1.5 hours because I was a bit far from Pretoria North, and I found accused 2 with a gentleman who identified himself as Mr. Mjiako, Togozo Mjiako, as his attorney.
Ngafika-ke lapho ngathi nje emuva nje kwehora noma ihora-ke elinesigaba ngoba ngangikude-ke ePretoria North. Uma ngifika khona lapho ngathola-ke yena-ke umsolo wesibili ekanye-ke nalo mlisa owayichaza nanjengoNtokozo Mjiako.
Accused 2 confirmed that this was his attorney, my lord.
Waqinisekisa-ke umsolo wesibili ukuthi kwakuwummeli wakhe loyo.
Just a minute. Now, what time did you arrive at the police station?
It would have been around midday, early afternoon, my lord.
Ngathi nje laselishayile-ke ihora leshumi nambili uma sengifika khona lapho kule police station.
And where did you find accused number 2 and Mr. Mjiako?
In the holding cells, my lord.
Ngabathola khona-ke ama-cells umsolo wesibili kanye naye uMjiako.
Where in the holding cells?
There is a space where normally, my lord, they will take fingerprints or legal practitioners will sit and consult with clients. So, but it's part of the holding cells.
Ikhona indawo la khona-ke bathatha khona-ke ama-fingerprints noma la abameli bazohlala khona-ke bakhulumisane-ke nalabo ababamele kodwa-ke kuyingxenye yama-cells.
Yes. Can you perhaps give more background? What happened? What what was the first thing that you discussed with the two parties?
So the first thing was obviously to identify myself, my Lord, to the council. But as I was coming, accused two knew me. So he also stood up and said, this is my attorney. And then the gentleman also then confirmed that he is in the form of identification, Mr. Mjiako, and he's got instruction to represent accused number 2.
Okwenzeka-ke lapho kokuqala kwakuwukuthi-ke mina-ke ngizethuleke khona kodwa ngathi nje ngiseza-ke wabe esesukuma-ke umsolo wesibili washo-ke ukuthi lona-ke ummeli wami naye-ke eseyichaza-ke ukuthi-ke umjiyako.
And Mr. Mjiako, did he say that in the presence of accused number 2?
Yes, my Lord. These discussions took place, and it was the three of us, basically.
Ukuthi umjiyako futhi-ke uthola ama-instructions ukuthi-ke ameleke umsolo wesibili futhi lokho kwenzeka-ke ekhona umsolo wesibili ngoba-ke sasindawonye sobathathu.
And what was accused number 2's reaction when Mr. Mjiako said he has instructions to appear for him?
No, he acknowledged. In fact, at that stage, my Lord, accused number 2 already indicated to me that this is my attorney. So Mr. Mjiako's assertion or statement of saying I have instruction to represent accused 2 came after accused 2 said this is my attorney.
Umjiyako yena ungathi nje wayesenikeza-ke isiqinisekiso kuloko ngoba-ke umuntu owaqala washo kwakuwumsolo wesibili owasho wathi-ke lona-ke umjiyako owummeli wami. Uma ngabe umjiyako eseyichaza-ke yena-ke ubesenikeza manje isiqinisekiso kuloko osokushiwe umsolo wesibili.
Yes.
My Lord, I then asked him to...
Just remember to mention the parties, there are 2 persons involved. You say him, who are you referring to?
I'm referring to Mr. Mjiako. So I then asked him, my Lord, to give me some form of identification to confirm if indeed, with greatest respect, if he's an attorney, because it was the first time I came face to face with him, and I've already identified myself by showing my appointment certificate, so I asked him to provide with some proof of such.
Ngamcela-ke uMr. Mjiako-ke ukuthi-ke angibonise noma ngikhombiseke into engaba ubufakazi-ke bokuthi impela-ke ngingakusho-ke lokho ngokuthi ngingamhloniphiki ukuthi angitshengiseke ukuthi ngempela-ke wayeyuyena ummeli ngoba mina-ke ngangisengimtshengisileke elami ikhadi ukuthi ngiyiphoyisa.
My Lord,
just a minute. Yes, you may proceed.
My Lord, he produced 2 things. The first one was his South African ID, which had his picture as well as full names as well as the ID number. Then he produced a copy of a document from LPC, which confirmed that he was an attorney, my Lord. And it was dated, if I recall correctly, the 5th of May 2020.
Zimbili-ke into angitshengisa zona-ke nanjengobufakazi-ke okokuqala wangibonisa-ke umazisi wakhe-ke unesithombe sakhe, igama lakhe, isibongo sakhe, i-ID number yakhe. Kwase kwesibili-ke ngitshengisa-ke ikhophi ebuya-ke LPC eyayisho-ke ukuthi uyena ummeli. Uma ngaphazamike i-date yakhona kwakuyi-5 May 2020.
Correct.
May I request, my Lord, that this evidence be provisionally admitted to the court on condition that Mr. Mjiako be called to confirm the contents thereof. My Lord, the reason why...
No. I'm just thinking about your submission.
Yes, my Lord. The reason being that there are a number of places and evidence that has been tendered before this court where the name of Mr. Mjiako has been mentioned. And this kind of evidence needs to be confirmed, especially during the trial. Within the trial, I was also informed of the letter that was attached on the charge sheet in Boxbank, which was written, or a letter coming from the office of Mr. Mjiako. And the authentic nature of the document could not be admitted in court unless, in terms of the best evidence rule, the author must come and confirm the contents thereof. in this case, the same letter, another letter is brought in. We don't dispute the fact that he's an attorney.
Who doesn't dispute it?
We don't dispute that.
Who doesn't? I'll tell you why. I've got this problem. Other councils can mention if I'm incorrect. It wasn't pertinently denied that Mr. Mjiako is an attorney.
Yes.
The evidence went surreptitiously and casually in this form. There was a gentleman in a suit
Yes.
who was standing next to the passage.
That's correct.
And the impression created in this court is that number 2 did not have an attorney that day.
That's correct.
That's it. Now I've got a problem. If you say it's not being denied, it was denied then.
Yes.
The circumstantial evidence was a complete denial that number 2 never was represented by an attorney, either inside with Mrs. Konje
Yes.
or that he had given that attorney Mjiako a
Instructions.
mandate.
Yes.
Now, if you are now saying this court must admit that evidence on the basis that it is not denied, are you with me?
Now, may I just put it so that we are on the same page with the court?
Yeah.
What has been said about Mr. Mjiako on the 24th in Boxburg Court
Yeah.
has been vehemently denied
That's it.
by the defense.
Yes.
Number 2, the letter was tendered in court in support of the notice of withdrawal as attorney of record in the absence of the attorney confirming that they are there to terminate the mandate. And Mr. Mjiako at that time was not present in court. Thirdly, my lord, another letter or a proof that he was an attorney, as it has been submitted that we have not disputed that Mr. Mjiako is an attorney or an advocate.
Is it disputed that he represented accused number 2
That is in dispute, my lord.
in this thing?
From-
Inside room,
Room 2, my lord.
yeah, where
In
Mrs.
Boxburg.
Konje was presiding.
That's correct.
It's disputed.
That is disputed.
Let's hear Mr. Baloyi. Mr. Baloyi.
To start with, my lord, my learned friend refers to a letter which he says we've tendered as proof of the fact that Mr. Mjiako withdrew from record. That letter forms part of the proceedings. It forms part of the record. So
At Rustenburg or
yeah,
Bukeng.
no, in Boxburg. So
Oh, okay, fine.
it was handed up in terms of section 235. So
That's it, yeah.
it's not a standalone
Document.
document that was handed up. It forms part of the exhibit. And secondly, regarding his qualification that the letter that the state is about to introduce be provisionally admitted on condition that Mr. Mjiako be called as a witness. Well, we submit that in light of the fact that these discussions took place in the presence of the accused, that will not be necessary, my lord, to call Mr. Mjiako. But we'll cross that bridge when you get there. I've submitted a letter from the LPC to my learned friends as part of the admissions, which we'll deal with in due course. For present purposes, my lord, we submit that the discussion which took place in the presence of the accused, as well as the document which the state is about to introduce, are admissible, my lord.
Okay. Mr. Mgomezi, you can argue that matter.
My lord,
You can argue that exigency. You can't compel the state to call a witness. You can call that witness. You can call Mr.
But-
Mjiako to come and say whatever.
but the crux, my lord, of the issue is the state at its disposal cannot use documents which such a witness cannot be called.
No, that's not
testify.
correct.
My lord,
The evidence of Brigadier Gininda is that in the presence of accused number 2, Mr. Mjiako introduced himself as an attorney or legal representative, which exigency was confirmed by accused number 2. There were 3. So that evidence is admissible. Number 2, here's number 2. Here's the gentleman here. And he is proffering evidence that Giako introduced himself as representing accused number 2. I don't think you can argue that it's not admissible, this evidence.
But the issue that I'm concerned about, my
The
lord,
qualifications.
is
Where
the
is the lawyer?
admission by accused number 2. He considered that the person that he was in the cells, that would still be in
They
dispute.
never considered in this
Never
court.
considered.
Not in this court.
Yes.
But
I
that's
mean,
why you're
it
going
is
to argue
put-
that exigency that, I don't know, that
It
evidence
is
is
put
not...
by this witness that Mr. Mjiako was present. That will still be denied by accused number 2. That
No, fine, no problem.
accused number, that's why we are calling for accused, for that Ntokozo Mjiako to come and confirm whatever that is there. The
This
last
is-
part,
wait.
part of my argument, my
Okay.
lord, before I can, on the charge sheet, when a reference is made to section 235 of the records of the court, I was made to not, I was not convinced on that record to say the magistrate has made an entry to the effect that the letter so attached corresponds with the notice of intention to withdraw as attorney of record, unless such entry is expressly said before this honorable court.
Fine, but the onus is on the state to prove whatever allegations the state proffers. And you have the right to rebut, contradict, countervail, and deny, and dispute, as you say. But the onus is on the state. But you see, Mr. Baloyi says, in his view, he doesn't think the state should call Mjiako. Okay. Right, sir.
You may proceed.
Yes, my lord. So he then gave me, my lord, so those 2 things. So I could confirm that in the letter, his ID number, South African Identity Document number, was reflected there. I took the document and I left him to say he can carry on with his consultation while I was making inquiries through our agencies to confirm the authenticity of him being an attorney. Such was confirmed to me, my lord.
Okwenzeka-ke manje-ke nanjengoba sengishilo ukuthi uMjiyako umnikile-ke lokho kubili-ke kwakuyi-ID yakhe-ke kanye naleli phepha-ke elibuya kwi-LPC eshoyo-ke ukuthi uwummeli ngase ngimshiya-ke ukuthi aqhubeke-ke naye-ke umsolo wesibili-ke mina ngathatha-ke idocument lena-ke ukuthi-ke ngenzeke ngixhumaneke nabathize ukwenza-ke isiqinisekiso sokuthi ngempela lo muntu-ke uyena ummeli nanjengoba esho nanjengoba futhi naleli phepha lisho-ke ngakuthola-ke ukuthi ngempela-ke kwakuyena ummeli.
You say you look at his ID, which had his picture and names. What were the names on the identity document?
I know Dominic, if I recall, my lord, Dominic Ntokozo Mjiako, as well as the South African ID number, the 13-digit number.
Engikukhumbulayo-ke kumagama akhe-ke ngikhumbula uDominic Ntokozo Mjiako kanye futhi nayo-ke i-ID number yakhe-ke le number-ke enama-digits awu-13.
And this number that is reflected on the paper corresponded with the one contained on the South African ID, my lord.
Futhi-ke inumber lena-ke i-ID number le eyayikhona-ke kule document anginikeza yona-ke kwakuyi-ID number-ke ekuyiyona le ekhona-ke kumazisi wakhe.
I just want to show you document exhibit YY. Can you identify that exhibit?
Exhibit what?
Exhibit YY is the
Oh,
document
YY is
that,
the
that
other-
we handed up yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
My lord, indeed, it is the document I referred to, dated 5 May 2020, from the Legal Practice Council.
Ilona-ke le document ebengikhuluma ngalo-ke elinale date ewu-5 May 2020 elibuya kuyona-ke i-LPC ekuyiyona-ke isigubhu lesi-ke esibhekene-ke nabameli.
Can you just put the contents on record?
So it says, so on top, my lord, that is the address for the National Office, Thornhill Office Park, Building 20, 94 Becker Road, Voma Valley, Midrand. There's a telephone number On the right-hand side, my lord, it says Legal Practice Council. And then in bold, it says confirmation of enrollment with the Legal Practice Council, dated 5 May 2020. Then it says to whom it may concern. Please note that as per records held by the Legal Practice Council, full name, Dominic Ntokozo Mjiako, ID, I will not mention his ID number, my lord, but it's depicted here, is on the practicing role of legal practitioners. And then it's signed by Charity Nzuza, Executive Officer, my lord.
Ilona ke phepha ke lifundeka ngalendlela ke kunekheli ke lapha le National Office esePond Hill Office Park ku building 2094 Becker Road Vona Valley eMidrand kune number ke lapha kwasekubhalwa ke Legal Practice Council nalapho ke kubhalwe ke futhi ukuthi ke isiqinisekiso ke lesi sokuthi ke ngempela ke ukhona ke ekomkhomandla noma ke Legal Practice Council ibhaliwe date yange 5 May 2020. Sicela ke niqapheleke ukuthi nanje ngama record esinawo ke thina si Legal Practice Council amagama aphelele uDominic Ntokozo Mjiako ibhaliwe ID number yakhe ukuthi ke ukhona ke kuhla lwabameli lokubizwa ukuthi legal practitioners kwasayina yena ke uCharity Nzuza oyi-executive officer.
The name of the chairperson of the Gauteng chair of LPC, is it reflected on the document?
Yes, it's, so my lord, there are two names, but where they signed is the one that says Charity Nzuza, who is an executive officer. And then you've got one, Johan van Standen, who is the director of Gauteng Provincial Office.
Kuna magama amabili ke lana ileli lika Charity Nzuza executive officer ila signed khona ke bese ke ku left ke kunegama lika Johan van Staden u director Gauteng Provincial Office.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Yeah, just a minute, my lord. Just want to check something. Yes, my lord, yes. So, Mr. Van Stander, because I'm looking at the original that I was given, he also signed. It's just that on the copy, his signature doesn't look visible. But on the one that I was given, so both Mr. Johan van Standen, the director of Gauteng Provincial Office, as well as the executive officer, signed this document.
Lana ke kuleli ke besilifunda icopy ke lena isignature yakhe uJohn van Staden ayibonakala kodwa ke lapha ke original article ubrigadier iyona le ayinikiwe kuyabonakala ke ukuthi naye uJohn van Staden wasayinda naye.
Mr. Baloyi, are you handing in